to Adam AF, the best comics day show Saturday mornings, Arch City Comics. Great show, topical stuff.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets simply aren't true without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 This is the Weekend Woke-Up Call. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Arch City Comics. This is the Weekend Woke-Up Call. I am your host, Adam AF. Joining me, as always, we've got my man, Simon Potier.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Joining us, we've got a full house today. We have Scott Payne of Chaotic Flux.
Good morning, all.
We've got the good Preston Acevedo. He just launched Doc Salem. You might know him from Rockabilly Road Trip.
Yo, how's it going?
We also have our guest of honor, celebrity co-host, if you want to call him that. It's Raging Golden Eagle.
It's funny you mentioned that. In the UK, I am officially a celebrity, but only there, apparently.
Dude, you're internationally famous. That's a big deal, you know?
That's a big deal.
No, it's not that. It's the UK implemented this bullshit law, or I guess, no, their courts made a decision. Some defamation case was going on, and they ruled anybody with over 30,000 followers on social media is a public figure, a celebrity. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
And still, nobody there knows who I am anyway. But I'm still a celebrity, though.
Celebrity by what? Symbol only? I don't know.
By court's decree? I don't know.
That is so weird that a court decrees you're a celebrity. By order of the court, you are a celebrity.
You hope a card. See, right here it says I'm a celebrity.
That would be hilarious if you had like a card that just said, I'm a celebrity.
You get pulled over, you're like, hey, do you know who I am?
Do you know how many followers I have?
You know, here's my letter from the court.
Yeah, I guess this is the celebrity equivalent of an honorary degree from a college.
Oh, one day out. That doesn't sound very good.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the UK, we're also joined here by Commie Mark.
Hello, greetings. So apparently I'm only 28,700 followers away from being a celebrity as well. But I am big in North Korea at the moment, so that's summer.
So you're a celebrity somewhere.
Yeah, in North Korea where they only have 3 celebrities.
Well, that's because the certain someone will only allow for 2 other celebrities besides himself.
Yeah, and those are his dad and his granddad.
Hail to the chat. Good morning to you guys. We got Toxic Man Baby. He says, speaking of figures, we got 6 of them yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
We also have Concrete Leopard here. Kino Subway. Not Joe Fargo. Red Gaze. He says, I got a notification. Schemes and scams. Good. Hopefully YouTube's getting their shit together and not silencing channels like they were for a few days there. That's pissing me off.
Oh man, now, silencing them, and also I was trying to stream with Cecil, and it got flagged down twice.
Dude, I wanted to talk to you about that. So, enlighten. What the hell happened? What were you guys doing that you got 2 different flags?
Nothing. I mean, it was just a regular those I appealed both of them, and they were put back up right away. But it still killed the stream. But no, it's what I was saying even before this started, when YouTube put out their tweet that we may be taking down more videos than usual. I knew this was going to happen because it's a false flaggers paradise out there right now, because I think that they just automatically take down any video that had over a certain amount of strikes. They're not risking it. They're just, oh nope, we're just taking it down, or a stream, I mean. And then better yet, just like what they did it to Anna later that night too. And we both got the same email, and they say, "Oh, your video has been flagged to us for violating the community guidelines." And then they said, "Upon review, we've determined it." Yeah, what review? Like, you lying mother.
Yeah, somebody reviewed it at 10 o'clock at night. Like, oh, okay, it's actually fine.
Within like a minute. Yeah, my ass. Like, dude, last time I tried to contact YouTube, it took days.
What was the guideline they said you guys violated?
They didn't give us one. That's another thing. They on purpose they do that. They don't want to tell you. They don't want to tell you what you specifically did, because then you could point out their double standards, and you could point out like a legion of other videos. Like, well, those guys do even worse than me, and you let them stay up. What the hell? So they purposely avoid telling you.
That's communist.
Well, given the political inclinations of everyone that runs and works at YouTube, I mean, is it a shock?
See, they at least told me last week that I showed sexually explicit images, and that's why my stream got struck.
No. For you, if they give you a legit strike, then they'll tell you for that. Yeah, because that's the same thing like they did to. I got a strike too. Not from Steaming with Cecil, but mine was they went back to a video that was like 4 years old. And they say, "Oh, this thing you links to adult content." And
what? They're mining your channel.
Yeah, they literally mined my channel, and the only thing they could find to give me a strike for is a link in the description.
That sounds like cancel culture. The way they go through your Twitter to go ahead and find something where they can go ahead and get your ass out of there.
Yeah, and that's why I keep deleting my older content.
Oh my God, that sucks, dude, because I love old content.
I wanted to keep that up forever, if anything, so people can see how I've actually improved over the years, or I could look back and notice I haven't and be ashamed of it.
I think that's why a lot of people have moved over to doing BitChute uploads, is because there's, leaving your stuff up on YouTube now just kind of, it leaves you wide open.
It's like leaving landmines.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and I've been doing it too. I've been uploading to BitChute as well, because and some people are like, "Oh, I know he's deleting his old content. He's trying to hide something." It's like, no, you could archive it if you want. I don't give a shit. I don't care if it exists. I just don't want to be able to get a strike for it.
Yeah. Because I mean, you've had your channel since about 2012, is that right?
Yeah, like middle of 2013. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so yeah, you've been at it for a while, and it's got to be strange to you to see YouTube in the state that it is in now. Because, I mean, you've been around for a while. You've built up quite the channel for yourself. And now it seems like the overlords are just trying to stop all growth.
Yeah, just seeing how it's completely degraded is kind of sad. And they've improved in some ways, but all of them on the technical front. But everything else has just been a nosedive. Remember... back when I was on YouTube, response videos were a feature of the website where it was almost like a reply. You could just do a response video to somebody, and then it showed up underneath the video you were replying to, so people could actually follow the whole response video thread. And now it's harassment. Really,
yeah.
YouTube?
Wow.
Oh my God.
It went from a feature of the fucking website to harassment. Yeah,
That's crazy.
It's pussy culture. That's right.
Exactly. See, we've gone from sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me, to words are literally violence.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is the culture we live in.
Yeah. Oh my God. I got in an argument with somebody about that because they were like, words are violent. I was like, no, they're not. I was like, violence is a bloody nose. It's craziness.
People need to. I don't know what happened. Everybody's skin got really thin over the course of just a few years, and it sucks. I remember when you used to be able to just be a complete asshole, and everything was fine. You got, you got to have a few laughs.
Right.
Now you're an asshole. And you get kicked off of whatever platform you're an asshole on.
No, and that's for now. But everybody right now is working on making their own and becoming because it sucks at first when they kick you off of everything and tell you to make your own. But if you live through that and you come out of it on the other side with your own everything, now you can do whatever the fuck you want because they literally can't touch you. These people are such pathetic pieces of shit. All they can do against you is cry to mommy to have mommy punish you. Well, but what if you are not under mommy's control anymore? They literally have nothing over you then.
Well, that's what I was about to say. It reminds me of that little kid in school, the one kid in school that used to just bitch and complain.
Yeah,
he would never
teacher Billy
like
said
exactly. Yeah. And his whole job was just to get you in trouble. Yeah.
Yep, that's right. And then one day, you move to another class. Yeah. No, it's going to happen too. This is another thing I've said as well, that the problem we have now, or this whole NPC SJW thing is a first world problem because when people don't have any real problems, they manufacture them. And this is one of them. Like all these SJWs are like middle upper class, like white kids living in gated communities who've never had a problem in their life. So they manufacture them.
Well, it's also like they've never been in a fist fight. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely
like
not.
They've never gotten hit in the face. No, I'm serious because I've gotten into so many fights, dude. But it's, and I've lost a lot. You know what I'm saying? But
got my ass kicked quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie about it. That's how you get better. but it makes you tough, and it tests your mantle. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys have never been tested, and they're scared to get into a manly situation.
And this is why it's awesome with what we're doing with Comicsgate, because it was the same thing within the industry. You got these diversity hires that were just handed the job despite not being qualified in the slightest.
Oh, absolutely.
And they've never had to compete. And now here's some competition coming up, and they're realizing that, these guys, because usually they just cry to management and get somebody fired.
Well, that's what I've been saying from the beginning, too. It's like the art in comics today and the writing sucks. And it's not because there's professionals out there that can't find, that they can't hire. It's because there's professionals out there that can't get a job because the people in charge are like, nah, I'm not going to hire you. I went to college with this guy. He's not a comic book guy, but I'm sure he can do the job. It's only comics.
Yeah, merit means nothing anymore.
Yeah, no, it's this one girl gave me eyes at the convention that we were at. So she could be an editor.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's craziness. Or their political beliefs align with my political beliefs, so I'm gonna give them a job. They have no experience whatsoever.
Well, I keep hearing that. But it hasn't fucking worked for me. Giving me like a mainstream job. So
you're still white though, Mark.
Yeah. You have to start identifying as a black woman, then maybe you'll be better off.
You would instantly get hired, I think, at Marvel if you identified as a black woman.
I'm actually the same race as Michael Jackson, whatever that
is. Tan and stuff. Just go buy it at the store and just rub it all over your body.
Well, and if anyone accuses you of blackface, just say, "Hey, are you making fun of my identity?"
How dare
you identify with? Yeah.
So I think that'll segue us right into the first article that I had up today. Did you guys see this from the Scottish Sun? Sam Smith shares emotional snaps of quarantine meltdown at his $12 million home.
Oh, poor guy. How's he going to live?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I believe you just misgendered him. So strike one for you.
If this was Twitter, I'd be permanently suspended right now.
Yes. If one thing has happened out of this entire situation is that I just hate celebrities even more than I already did.
Absolutely.
Like this and that cringy shit where they were all singing Imagine to each other.
No. Oh, we're all in this together. You know, as we're quarantined in our $50 million mansions, we understand what it's like to be in a studio apartment with 2 days worth of supplies. Yeah,
Well,
it's
celebrities,
3 kids,
and no toilet paper.
Celebrities are now a parody of themselves. They don't have the clout that they used to have. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like they're a walking joke.
And I don't understand why they ever had that clout to begin with.
Because people treated them like American royalty. You know what I'm saying? And they bought into that shit.
And that's just weird. I mean, because the way I see it, like even like myself, like if you're an entertainer, you're a dancing monkey. Like that's literally all you are.
Well, let's be honest.
You dance for the entertainment of the masses.
Well, legally, you're a celebrity.
In the UK, yeah.
Yes. I should be throwing money at you.
Even though
Which I guess
nobody
they
knows
are.
who you are, you're legally a celebrity.
No. Any random person can buy 30,000 followers and be a celebrity, I guess.
You better explain that for the chat.
So I'm not. We're not going to watch this video because it's too awful. But I did want to read some of this. Sam Smith has shared emotional snaps of them having a quarantine meltdown at their $12 million home. The singer, 27, has been holed up in their luxury home after self-isolating during the current coronavirus pandemic. Poor them. Poor them. I feel like, I mean...
You should have showed the pajamas in the beginning.
The pajamas, I think, is why he's so depressed.
Oh, you just misgendered.
Oh, shit. They're so depressed.
You did it on your own channel, too. Goodbye.
No, shit. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. It's been a nice 10 minutes.
There goes my career. Why don't he call his mother and have his mommy come over?
Well, he said this afternoon, Sam, who previously asked family and friends to refer to him as they, took to Instagram to reveal the struggle of being stuck inside, sharing a series of snaps of them looking in pain. They wrote next to it, "Stages of a Quarantine Meltdown." That's going to be the name of his next album, I guarantee it.
Yeah, I know, right? When did they become a gender?
Well, no, it's really just enabling mental illness at this point. Again, we'll call you whatever you want. You know, just shut the fuck up and leave us alone. Whatever.
Go play with this. Go in the corner and play with it. Go play somewhere else.
Exactly. That's all it is. It's like, no, okay, well, if we just call you what you want to be called, will you stop crying and shut the and then see and this was the mistake because people thought like, oh yeah, if we just give them what they want, they'll stop crying.
Yeah,
no, then they move the. Yeah, then they move the goalpost. I mean, that's how professional victims are. They have to be getting victimized by something, or else they don't have money anymore. So yeah, they just keep moving the goalpost. You give them an inch, they'll take everything.
Honestly, I think as soon as somebody complains about that stupid shit, they should be brought out back and thoroughly beaten.
No, or if nothing else, I mean, this is the example I use for why we shouldn't have shut down the nut houses. Because I'm starting to because I know why they shut them down, because there were all these cases of patient abuse and all that going on. But now that I'm comparing that to what happened now, I think that was by far the lesser of two evils.
I know, right?
Yeah, because they're causing way more suffering now to themselves and everybody else.
Here's your standard issued brass knuckles. The patients are in the back.
Yeah, Zero says, "Who buys this BS?" Concrete Lover says, "So fucking fake."
Too many people buy it, and too many people want to defend it.
This is definitely fucking fake.
And too many college kids are buying into it because of their professors and stupid shit like that. Like it's getting bad because people don't. I think people just didn't, like you said, people didn't want to deal with it, so they tried to pacify these people. And what it did was it grew their audience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now we're where we're at, you know, where people are mining their Twitters, you know, and trying to get them canceled because they used the wrong pronouns. I was reading a novel and I was telling somebody else this, like I read like novels and shit like that. I know it's
I wish I knew how to
very
read.
effeminate.
That's weird.
But so I was you know, this is the third book that was put out, and all of a sudden out of nowhere they crowbarred, you know, use my correct pronouns. I threw the book away. I marked that up to a waste of time, you know, just ruined the whole series for me. It's craziness.
I mean, that's just so fucking confusing in any kind of literature. I mean, we just had this whole snowflake is non-binary, so it is a they them situation. Like how that's got to be difficult if they're trying to like refer to that character like off panel.
That is so funny, dude.
No, it is.
I thought it was a joke. Yeah. I honestly thought it was a joke, and then I'm like, this is real.
Yep, it's real.
I'm still not convinced that it isn't a joke, but
I'm so done with Marvel. Like Marvel has just, vintage books. You want to collect comics? Vintage comics.
I can't say anything.
Comicsgate Comics, not vintage.
Oh, Comicsgate too.
Comicsgate
Comics.
Yeah.
Doc Salem. Collect Doc Salem. It's a very manly title.
No, that's. I wish I could say the same thing, but I've been done with Marvel for a while. So
yeah.
Me too.
Well, yeah.
This just shows that like they've either just completely stopped trying, or I feel like Marvel / Disney, they've become the tryhards of the woke culture now.
But how do they get away with it? You know what I'm saying? Because you got to realize, like, okay, you got all these creators in Marvel creating these shitty titles, but then Marvel's not owned by these creators. Marvel's owned by a board of investors. You see what I'm saying? And these investors are losing their ass right now, or just are not making the profits that they should be making. I mean, honestly, with the movies and all this other crap that Marvel's got going on with their movie universe and shit, like their sales should be almost reflecting what they were doing in the 90s. You know what I'm saying?
From what I understand, what they're doing is they're using the comics as just a drawing board for creating new characters, and it doesn't matter if they make money or not right now in the comics. It's what does matter is that they're making these new characters to put into other forms of medium like video games and movies.
Yeah,
and they're hoping to make money off of them that way.
Try to put a character in a movie named Snowflake, and I guarantee you that movie's going to flop.
No, it's going to flop, but it doesn't matter as long as that person gets there. Look at Vagrant Queen, issue 2, selling like 880 something copies. Already has a sci-fi TV show. It actually starts this month.
I'm pushing. I'm officially pushing for a Snowflake TV series. I'm gonna say it. Like Safe Space and Snowflake. Let's do it. Fuck Cloak and Dagger. Let's do Safe Space.
Just a series of whiny, bitchy superheroes. I can't wait.
Yeah, let's just speed up. Let's speed up the decline. Yeah,
I think Ellen DeGeneres should play Snowflake.
Yeah.
I think I could actually get behind that.
And Safe Space would be played by the guy who's the fairy godmother now. He'd be perfect for that.
Oh, that would be.
Oh my God, you're right. It's almost like he was. I didn't even think of that. They probably actually had him in mind when they designed the character.
Yeah.
Oh damn! I think we. I don't know if we talked about that on a
video game
on a previous stream or not, but I know I had that article pulled up about the new non-binary fairy godmother.
What the heck? I haven't heard about that. What's up with that? Like.
Oh, you want to pull up a picture of the new fairy godmother?
Yeah, we can.
I think we have to now.
So awesome. I like this show. This show's awesome. I never had enough time to spend with you guys last time. I had to bring my buddy to the airport.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you were kind of in and out that morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I bookmarked it in my tweets. So let me see if we can get this pulled up here, because it's classic woke material.
Like, I made this same joke on Gay Space Communism because it's set on the non-binary mothership. Yeah, and, you can't have the word mother in the title and non-binary. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. You can't have a non-binary fairy godmother. Like, it'd have to be a fairy godparent. I suppose that would work.
Oh yeah, maybe that's the next thing they're going to complain about, is that the word mother is
they did
exclusionary or something.
No, they did.
Oh, they already did.
They had a whole they had a whole group was out there saying that you don't have to be female to be a mother. I was like, that is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard before in my life. They're like, what do you tell a dad who's raising his daughter and their mother died during childbirth or something like that? And I was like, he's a father. He can't breastfeed. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Oh, I've seen that.
On that last week, how profound it is that I am playing the fairy godmother. They call it the Fab G. Magic has no gender. This character as genderless. At least that's how I'm playing it, and it's really powerful. You know.
Wait, so
what's going on?
So he is playing it as a genderless fairy godmother. He wasn't told to play it as a genderless fairy godmother. That was the choice that he made for the role, according to him or them. I'm not sure. I'm so confused at this point.
It's not like so. You know, in the UK we have pantomimes, and I don't think you do them in America. Like Z-list celebrities put on a Christmas-themed play, like based on a nursery rhyme or whatever. And like Cinderella is a classic one that they would do regularly, and there is a joke that they always get the ugly sisters to be played by men in it, like people in drag. Like this isn't a huge leap, like just to cast a dude as a fairy godmother, but they're acting like, you know, they've reinvented the wheel or whatever. Man,
yeah. Martin Young says, anyone getting a Rock in the Tooth Fairy vibe? A little bit. Only the Rock was he was the man as the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like this is retarded. This is completely ridiculous.
Gaze says, "Powerful words have lost all meaning."
Yeah.
Well said.
Stunning and brave.
It shows you how
brave.
It shows
So
you how
brave.
shows how far we have come as a society that nobody's saying, "What, a black fairy godmother?" Like, so you know, he's winning on that, and
Oh, this is like round of applause for this, you know.
The black white thing is so done. Like that was done decades ago. You know what I'm saying? Like this is it's just like you said. I mean, people just need something to bitch about. Like let's not go create new shit. Let's just bitch about stuff.
Classic. This is a classic fairy tale for a new generation, and I think that the new generation is really ready.
Really? You think the new generation is ready? You think the kids really give two shits that you are a genderless fairy godmother? Now the parents have to explain to their kids, what's a genderless fairy godmother?
Dude, I got to be honest. Like,
well, Annie, you know how your Ken doll doesn't have any parts, between his legs?
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous, dude. I mean, that's one thing that I feel sorry for too, is the children. Like, let's get back on the celebrity thing. Like, they want to be politically correct so badly that they're willing to sacrifice their children to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, he plays with dolls. I gotta put him on, estrogen. I mean, estrogen now. They go ahead and make him not go through puberty.
Well, there's one silver lining though, and that is if you talk to kids nowadays, like those that, at least the ones that are still in high school or younger, they view this as a joke too. The problem is then they go to college and they come back and it's, oh my God, what they leave college like 20 times dumber than they entered it. And
it's the professors. That's what I'm saying. It's the teachers and the professors over there, because from what I understand, like all of them are pretty much activists, right? Yeah. Like they support everything that's going on because it's some crazy, like weird ass hippie mentality that they're going with,
That's like it's definitely like a new age hippie mentality, because I kind of grew up as a hippie and it was not like this.
No,
it was more just like, hey, everybody get along, peace, love, pass the joints.
Yeah, let's do safe drugs and have fun. That's do mind expanding drugs. Let's be creative. They're not being creative now. They're trying to fucking destroy everything.
Brainwash.
Yeah,
definitely brainwash.
And that's when I actually agreed with some of the other guys when they were pointing out that as horrible as the new Warriors was, at least they finally made their own instead of destroying some existing.
That is true.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But look what we got when they finally decided that they were going to make their own new
we
characters.
got the same shit we would have gotten if they changed like Night Thrasher into that, except this time at least Night Thrasher is safe. I mean, I'm okay with that.
All right.
Can you put a picture of the new Warriors team? It's so funny.
no, and then even better. No, I got another one. I know what their next hero is going to be too.
Dude,
so I'll post
it's
that
not
link.
it's not worse than the X-Men thing that we saw yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that. You know,
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, I forgot we were watching. We were looking at that last night. The new redesigned X-Men. I don't. Gender swapped X-Men.
Children of the Atom. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like the female Gambit and all that.
Yep.
Yeah, and then there's actually something else too. I don't know if maybe one of you guys haven't seen it yet, but I linked it in the private chat. If you want to pull up Marvel's next stunning and brave hero.
Oh boy, yeah. Let's see here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think I know this one.
I saw that one.
Yeah, and the funny part about that was that I think you accidentally kicked Preston, or
did I?
Or did he kick himself, or what?
He might have kicked himself. I was like, I don't even think I had the screen open. He's back.
Okay.
He kicked himself out. There he is.
Oops. Man, no, see, and the funny thing when I was reading that article the first time, the only indication that it was a parody was the artwork was way too good to be done at Marvel. That's it.
Oh my god. Oh, this is. I don't know. This might. I don't know if this word is allowed. Is this a Google or a YouTube safe word?
Well, I showed it on my channel a few times, and I only got struck like 3 times for it.
Okay. New from Marvel, Cuckold.
Yeah, and see, look at that. That the artwork is. I mean, that guy looks like an actual hero. So it's like, wow, this can't be Marvel. No way.
He does. He's muscular. He's got a traditional look about him.
He's got the Superman emblem on his belt.
The icon in the back here.
Yeah.
This is a real design.
Let's see. In a press release this morning, Marvel Comics announced a new inclusive superhero named Cuckold, a 32-year-old man who can only shoot laser beams at enemies if someone is fucking his wife.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Very useful power.
Yeah.
Awesome. The superhero is a normal man who gained his superpowers when he was exposed to radioactive fetish porn vapors in a government research facility.
Awesome.
Hey, is that any more or less believable than internet gas?
No, that's
God.
I'm completely on board with this.
Who is Marvel must be doing shrooms over there, dude. Oh, internet gas. Yeah. I can get down with that.
We really wanted to inspire the next generation of superhero fans. The thing about Cuckold is that he wears his name and abilities as a badge of honor. Most people think cuckold, that's a derogatory term. Not for Cuck. The way he sees it, he can only use his powers for good, saving the world and letting another man give his wife an orgasm.
Oh my god.
This is so awesome.
This is amazing. I would definitely buy this.
The editors over there, dude, they have to be constantly high. Okay,
Marvel later announced Cuckold's sidekick, a sex-positive superhero named Assplay.
Yeah, and that's what I love about this site, because every single line in that article was actually referencing something in the Marvel reveal of the new Warriors. So if you think this is too if you think this is too stupid to, there's no way anyone will believe this. Well, look at what Marvel really did, and tell me again this is impossible.
Snowflake was a derogatory term, so I decided to make it something positive.
This is a really well written article. In addition to representing the sexual humiliation fetish in comic books for the first time, Cuckold will also raise awareness via his catchphrase, "I am a sniveling little worm that is not fit to reproduce," which he often yells while eviscerating enemies and while watching his wife get absolutely fucking railed by strangers.
While he watches.
I like the idea that he's in like a big fight and he needs more power in it. So you see more men going into like his wife's bedroom, like come on,
it becomes a whole gangbang.
Yeah.
He watches to power up.
Is it the new book written by Tanapo?
Oh God! Man.
Ooh, damn, Sim. Just been quiet all morning.
Man, no, that whole moment though, that would be like that scene in Dragon Ball Z where Goku has to use the Spirit Bomb and he's gathering power from everyone in the world. It would pretty much be like that, you know. No, Cuck needs power, so every man in the world is going to his wife's bedroom and his power is growing and growing.
His sidekick can be Assworm Jim.
They did the same thing in the new Mazinger Infinity at the end. They pulled the energy of all the neutron around the world this time.
So here's the new Children of the Atom, which are just all of the original X-Men, just slightly redesigned.
Yep, it's knockoffs.
Yeah, I mean, just
dollars for X-Men.
Basically, I do like that the lady Cyclops here has got the kind of the pouches from the 90s. They're like, oh, you guys wanted 90s back, right? So here's some pouches.
Right.
They actually made Archangel look manly.
We know how much you like what's his name? Scott Labdale.
Yeah, Scott Labdale.
Is that a female Cyclops?
It is, yeah.
Or is it genderless?
Actually, I think she is. Well, no, she's a lesbian. They said she's a lesbian.
Of course she is. Of course. I mean, I love a good lesbian, but come on.
Yeah, they just happen to look like the writers and the new writers and the new presentation team from Marvel.
Why didn't they make Archangel a female if they're going to go all in like that? Yeah.
Yeah, no, if you're going to go all in, I mean, technically angels are actually genderless, so that this would be the perfect time for a non-binary character that would actually make sense.
Like from Dogma.
But see, you said it would actually make sense.
Yeah, that's right. So they're never going to do it.
So what is Nightcrawler? It's hard to tell what or the wannabe Nightcrawler there.
He's just a little white kid, I think.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's actually just a regular white boy.
Yeah, they still have white kids?
Well, no, there's no way. No, dude, if he really is just a white kid, he's the villain. Like he wouldn't be on that team.
Yeah, there's no way.
But from
Tommy Mark is going to be Nightcrawler.
From what I understand, this is a new team, right? They're not like taking the place of like Cyclops and Gambit, all them.
No, this is just like new warriors. Yeah, they're apparently being trained by the X-Men, from what I got.
But to me too, I mean, the fact that I'm glad they're not replacing the originals, but at the same time, it's like it kind of screams this is extra lazy. That they're like, I can't come up with new characters, so let's just make a female version of Gambit. Let's and throw them in this team and.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no new characters coming out. I mean,
and even they can't even come up with a new power at all. It's just crazy.
No,
I mean, I guess
that's
because they're stuck on Snowflake, and that's not very good either. So,
that's what bugs me. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Internet
Imagine you're in the world. Let's imagine this is real. Yeah. How difficult would it be for the original X-Men to find these people to line up with their powers who could wear the same suits and take the same names and shit? That's logistically very difficult, even with Cerebro or whatever. Like, it's just dumb.
That's the point I was going for. Is what does this do to the X-Men continuity to the universe if all of a sudden there's other mutants cropping up with identical powers to the old ones?
You guys are trying to do something stupid. You're trying to use logic. Don't do that. Don't do it. Get really, really drunk and come up with a script for X-Men. That's how you do this. That's
remember the comic X-Man about whichever
I had a shitload of those books.
Same. You wouldn't be able to do that now, would you?
No.
Look, I'd say that's
you'd have to do X person, you mean?
No, what I liked about X-Men though is that was like the cliche Karen, like the typical mother. It's like ask you, what sort of superhero? What's your kid into? What's your son into? It's like, he really likes X-Man. So I think that's why they created X-Men, just so those moms won't look like idiots.
They should do a title called X-Gender. Yeah. That way, they just
Ex-genderless.
cover all their bases.
I guarantee that's coming.
People.
People kind. Oh yeah, no. A villain called People Kind, and it's Justin Trudeau. Oh, I'm sorry, Pierre Trudeau's wife's son. Sorry.
I like Toxic. Toxic said X-Ma'am.
No, X-Mam's great.
X-Mam. That's awesome.
Concrete Leopard said to look up the description of these characters, and I'm not finding the article that's got all the descriptions. I've got one's got a bunch of variant covers. That's not it.
So maybe I'll ask. Are you referring to the Children of the Atom or the New Warriors? Because the New Warriors, the descriptions are everywhere and they are full of cringe. But,
oh yeah, they're bad. I can't find the Children of the Atom.
Well, that's the thing too. Like they couldn't even think of an original title. Like Children of the Atom is remember the arcade game back in the day, the XMen arcade game.
Well, and Bendis did a Children of the Atom miniseries in like 2012 or something like that. Yeah, I mean, it's Marvel is the worst at regurgitating titles. The worst.
Well,
they're so fucking proud.
We're on like Secret Wars 9 or something now, aren't we? Like,
yeah,
it's ridiculous.
They've got another Infinity story coming out.
You see, that's what I'm saying though. Like all the creators, like they're not hiring like comic creators. Like I mean, that's what like all the movies and shit like that were based on like series that were created by like Jim Starlin, Walter Simon. All these storylines were created by these badass comic creators.
And Jim Starlin's still around, and they fucked him over too.
Yeah, they don't want to deal with these guys anymore because they're not woke enough, or they're not politically correct, or they're not there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why this industry's dying. That's why Comicsgate's prospered.
This is where all the good creators are now. Yeah,
they've made it way too easy for us at this point.
Yeah, no, that's why I put out that tweet yesterday after the Children of the Atom video dropped. I mean, I was not even joking when I said I was proud of that Blade Devil trailer I put together. But then Marvel went and put out that Children of the Atom video, and I realized, like, shit, Marvel's video probably got more customers to Blade Devil than mine did. Oh, and Concrete Leopard, I was saying, no, just look at because in the video that Marvel put out, the Children of the Atom one, they do actually mention, they do describe the characters and all that. So I don't know if you want to risk getting a strike from Marvel by playing it on your stream, though, but that is
not really. I got my first warning last week, so I'm really not trying to get an actual suspension. Here was the other new thing that they've got coming out: Infinite Destinies, where they're basically turning the Infinity Stones into actual characters.
Mm-hmm.
They've already started.
Ideas.
Yeah,
they copied Land of the Lustrous now or something. What's that? Yeah.
Jesus, dude, come on.
The first one's already out. It was that new series Star that they started doing, where they gave an Infinity Stone to like a known felon. Like she's a literal, like, she is not a good person. She's actually worse than Captain Marvel as far as like an actual person goes.
So she's an SJW superhero.
Essentially.
Yeah, because that's another thing that they have a habit of doing is the story is from the perspective of the villains, and they want you to treat them as heroes. It's really weird. Like look at Ignited, for example.
I gotta go for a person.
Damn, I was hoping this one had the. Having a hard time finding the right articles this morning. One of these had like kind of the description of all the people, and yes, Stars. She's literally a bad guy. That now she has her own series, and I'm sure it's going to morph into, she's redeemable. She's not really a bad person, and she's got like the reality gem. Like she's got one of the most powerful fucking Infinity Stones.
Well, no, for what it's worth, villains can be redeemable, yeah, but you're gonna have to do that naturally over time as part of their main opposing hero's story. You don't just all of a sudden say, no, create a spin-off book starring that villain, and she's good now. Like, no, you can't do that.
What if they make just all the female villains redeemable, but the males are hopeless?
Oh, and then
I
all
can
the
see them
male
doing
heroes are actually villains too, because toxic
Well,
masculinity.
yeah, because you know, toxic white cis white males. Yeah.
And that's that's another funny thing. These same people, these same women in particular, that call everything masculine toxic, and they want nothing to. They want to just destroy masculinity. At the same time as they do that, they're turning themselves into men. It's really weird.
Hey, Adam.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that in one of your videos. That was hilarious.
What's up, Sam?
Adam.
What?
Check my screen.
Check your screen.
Check it out. Damn.
Oh,
Nice.
sweet. Zoom in a little bit.
Zoom in on the plot. Yeah.
Right. That's badass.
I'm testing the new pencil like for quick layouts, and I'm having fun with it.
That's looking nice, man. I like that.
Yeah, really good perspective.
That actually, I was actually trying to get into the segue. I want to hear more about Blade Devil.
So let's go.
Let's do this.
It's like from the point of view of the monster dying.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Nope. There's
Very awesome.
everything is a
Holy
spoiler, so
shit.
can't do it. Yeah.
Can't do it.
Yeah. Oh, actually, no. If you refresh it, we actually got over 101 today.
Oh damn!
Great.
You're just ticking away, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, you killing it? Yeah.
Six-figured bitches.
Oh yeah, look at that, sweet man.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
we're not on a young lady channel here, so six-figured bitch.
So give us,
That's
give us a little insight on Blade Devil. You know, how long have you been working on this story?
Oh, dude, no, the story I've been kind of mulling it over for over a decade actually, because I wanted to just make like an RPG video game at first. So I was just, but you guys know how it goes. Like a lot of these stories. The one thing that's really awkward, because I mean, there's a lot of good anime, for example, that were based on D&D games, but a lot of stories that someone clearly took inspiration from a D&D game from. It's really damn obvious. You got you got a party member of every role and all that crap that just randomly meet up in a tavern, whatever, and then go
in Act 1 in it.
Yeah, exactly. So there are things you need to avoid, but no, I mean, otherwise you can actually interchange these. So I mean, I think I did an interview with Bleeding Fool, and I mentioned it there. But funny enough, the characters, the story, and the world came from 3 different locations. They didn't come about at the same time. Because when I realized, we need to make a comic now, so I thought, okay, world building. Well, I ran multiple D&D campaigns, and I actually created my own world. I didn't use like the stock Forgotten Realms one. Right. So there you go. There's my world. I already have it developed, and all the factions and everything's built up. I just need to adapt it to get rid of all the stereotypical D&D stuff. And the characters, I played those dungeon crawler games like Etrian Odyssey, where you create your entire party of characters, but none of them have a personality. It's just a picture and some stats. So I actually created personalities for these characters and backstories, and I was imagining how every boss encounter, I imagined how that would play out, if the characters weren't just, stat sheets. So yeah, I was pretty autistic like that, and it worked out to my advantage, I guess. So so I had a big stable of characters I've been creating over the years. I just adapted in as well. And the story, again, I wanted to. I thought this would be a good, video game type story. But then I thought, we could do all of it. We could do anime, video games, comics, everything. If I could, I'd want to do multimedia. That's what sets me apart from the NPCs, because they just want to use comics as a stepping stone to get a Hollywood deal or something. But for me, I want to do like in Japan. The manga isn't over as soon as a video game or an anime is announced. Hell no. The video game and the anime is like an advertisement for the manga.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I want to do it. If we can expand into everything, that's cool. And that also means I'm not going to sign the rights away for any of those deals. I'd want to be able to at the very least have like some of the more popular manga authors, they have veto powers. They may not be involved in the production process of the anime or game based on their property, but they are aware of everything that's being done, and they can step in at any time. And it's like, fuck no, you're not doing that. Like if Blade Devil is being made into an anime or something, or a live action movie, like, oh, we're going to cast Leslie Jones as a Shiara. No, you're not.
I like your creature creations. Those are awesome. I'm really digging those. And you're absolutely right. Like, comics should be the goal. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything else is there to support your book. And that's another thing too. Like Hollywood, whenever they get their teeth into something, they warp it to the point to where it doesn't even resemble what you originally started out with.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, I'm willing to accept that some things have to change because what works in one medium doesn't necessarily work well in another. But only change the bare minimum to make it functional in the new medium. You don't have to do a Game of Thrones, you know. You don't have to go that far.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nice action too.
Oh yeah,
where'd you find your artist at?
Oh no, he actually he found me. Funny enough,
really?
Yeah, because through my YouTube channel, and then we just got started. We started talking, and the idea came about. But there's a lot of really, really good artists out there, like really freaking good that can't get a job. Because, again, like we were just talking about how Marvel and DC and everywhere else, they specifically exclude these great people. And I think, I don't even think it's politics. I don't really think at this point it's because the companies have been completely overrun by these talentless hacks. And these talentless hacks know that as soon as they let someone with actual talent in the door, they're done. Because then the management's going to be like, hey, this dude is pulling in way better numbers than you. His work is way better than yours, and he's doing it faster. What's up with you, man? But so if they let anybody in that's way better than them, they're done. So they can't.
I can say this for a fact. Like I do cons, and the people that are in, you go talk to them, and you're like, "Hey, how'd you get in? What should I do to get it?" Like they pucker up. Like they don't want to give you the correct information, or they don't want to talk to you about it. Like they'll change the subject.
Yeah, they view you as a threat. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if you have any hint of talent, because I got to tell you, not a lot of these people do, dude. I mean, it's horrible what comics. I mean, you got Greg Land, who was like doing X titles and all this kind of crap. That dude, he traces out of magazines. And he traces the same image over and over again. He changes the hair or some stupid shit like that.
Oh God! What if this is what Marvel wants to do? We'll gladly take their customers. But but that's the funny. See, we're trying to be the opposite though, because I'm already working with like 3 other artists right now on different things. Either side stories for Blade Devil or another project entirely. That's one of the things I want to set out, because we created the company, Sick Fox Studios, and one of the things we want to do is, I'd like for people to stay with us if they can. Maybe not full time, but at least partially. But I want to kind of use it as a launching pad for awesome artists that have been passed over. And if you get your start here, you get your name out, and then you can become successful. I'd view that as a success for me, because the state of every single art community right now is just pathetic in the West, and it needs to be fixed. So we need to shine the spotlight on really good artists and have them take over as independents. I mean, I hope none of the guys go on to work for like Marvel or DC. Like, hell no, just make your own shit. Yeah. Exactly. Make your own shit, own your own IP. Like, no, you don't have to be begging them for royalties. Like, no, you own everything. Yeah, no, just make your own stuff. Get your own platform. And the only thing that's standing in, because these, like, see, you look at the art right on screen right there. That guy is more than good enough to have his own stuff. But the problem is, he doesn't. Everyone just tries to brush him under the rug.
Plus the page rates suck right now too. Like you're unless you're a name. So just busting in, you're not going to get a good rate,
yeah, and
you're right.
That's what you have to get. Yeah, the only thing standing in these talented artists' way is getting the name, getting the recognition. Yeah. That's. I mean, look at J. Scott Campbell, for example. He charges the insane amounts of money for covers. but that's because he's J. Scott Campbell. And
Yeah.
I say, no, if he gives you, if you ask him for a commission and he says, yeah, that'll be $10,000, and you go, it's like, well, what the hell? I could just go get this other guy who draws almost as good as you for a couple hundred, and he could just say, well, you can do that. Then I have 3 people behind you with $10,000 waiting to give me.
I'm not a big fan of Campbell's work though.
Well, that's just an example, though. I mean, and then when he was getting started, if he drew exactly the same as he does now, but he was a nobody, he'd be lucky to be getting a couple $100 for covers. It's just like name recognition at this point. And and so if we can launch these artists and get them the name recognition they need, and then because that's what I think will be the best outcome for all artistic careers, is make everything in creator owned. Just stop the reliance on these giant corporations. Just if we could launch these independent careers and they stay independent, that's a big win.
That's what I was saying too. Like Comicsgate is like a another Image revolution, except we're not all under an Image banner, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
And although to Image's credit, if you publish through them, you still own the property. Like Image doesn't keep ownership, so
you don't make a whole lot off of it though.
But I think that's just because the Image model might work really well. Actually, I mean, if Image would be willing to work with us, that could be great, because their problem is. I think they only charge, it was like $2,500 or something, and they will take care of everything, and then you get to keep. You still got the rights. You get a good cut of the money, but they don't do advertising really. No. I mean, you just So if imagine if we did, like, because we do our own advertising here on YouTube, and if you want to do a traditional 20-page stapled comic through comic shops. You could go through Image if they'll accept you, and then you do your own advertising. Hey, come on down to the comic shop this Wednesday. My new comic's coming out, and that could work.
It's far less convenient, though, isn't it? Yeah. It's less convenient than saying, just pop in like your details here and I'll send it you in the post. Like if you've got to get someone to go to a physical location, I think that's a harder sell.
What you just pointed out about Image not pushing your book, that's every publisher out there. It's not worth having a publisher because all they want to do is publish a book. I mean, it's not that hard to publish a book. Like they barely handle distribution. And what need do you have for distribution if they're not pushing your book? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, if you're only going to get 10 sales, you could do that yourself. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it's not worth it anymore to go ahead and get a publisher. I mean, I learned that the hard way, but it's a publisher's job should be, if you're creating a product and you're putting all this effort into it and you're covering the cost on inkers, colors, all this kind of stuff, writers, then they should at least go ahead and push the book like it's gold, because it only benefits them. But they don't want to do it,
Well, the reason I was bringing up a potential working relationship with Image, though, is if we wanted specifically that comic shop market, because they have the channels into the comic shops, and I like because see, if you went through Marvel or DC, you're their bitch. Like, they own everything you put out. But with Image, at least, you have to pay a couple $1,000, but then you still own it, and you're just using their infrastructure to get the books into comic shops.
Well,
but otherwise, I mean, if we're gonna say comic shops, they're the past, then I guess there is no need. And for the record, I've said before, if a comic shop wants to buy some of my books, all they have to do is get in touch, and we could work out some bulk order deal or something. But otherwise, no. I mean, if comic shops want to be our customers, nothing's stopping them from buying from
you're right.
us.
But the deal with Comicsgate, the reason why an Image deal would benefit us is because Comicsgate pushes Comicsgate. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So we advertise each other like crazy.
Yeah, and then we'd have somebody else take care of the printing and distribution. That being Image.
We could just
that's the biggest pain in the ass for Comicsgate, is especially international distribution. That is insane. But and funny enough, you said create. Now, see, you're an artist, right? And so your problem is you're the one. You have to do the book, but then you also have to go out and advertise and do all this other stuff.
Well, I'll write,
and that's.
I'll write and draw the book, but you're right. Anything that takes me away from my desk, is a waste of time. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
And that's why I have the relationship with my artist, like the same one that like Antonio and Kanan have, for example, where you know the writer, I'm taking care of all the business aspect, and I'm out on YouTube, I'm shilling it. And my artist, you know, he's welcome to come on anytime he wants, but for the most part, he's like, nah, man, he's just like you. Like, that shit's a waste of my time. I just want to be here drawing.
Yeah.
And art, that's what takes the longest. So
it does, because you got to be in the right mindset to go ahead and do it. And it's not like you can just jump from one thing to the other and just be like, okay, now I'm gonna create this page. Like, you have to get in that headspace to be able to do it, you know? It's not, and it's the same thing with writing, I guess. I mean, I don't know what, like, you have to, like, maybe prep yourself a little bit, right? Like, get yourself in that headspace to go ahead and write Blade Devil.
Music.
That's true. And then also there's a thing where at least I realized if I get stuck, if I'm suffering from some like writer's block or some shit like that, the best thing to do as a writer is just stop. I mean, they say, oh, you had to write all. I mean, sure. Write something else.
Walk away from it.
Just and then come back a few days later. Yeah, because I found if I'm in a position where I'm like, okay, no, I need a good idea, but this shit looks like it's going to be lame. I mean, this sucks. I need to make this cool. I get much better results if I just put it aside for a few days.
Dude, you're
sometimes.
Absolutely right.
Yeah. Then if I forced it,
sometimes I'll go ahead and I'll walk away and go cut the grass or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Come back to it, and now I'm just like, while I'm doing it, like, you know, whatever meaningless chore I'm doing around the house, like, while I'm doing that, I'm actually still thinking in the back of my mind, like, how to work out that storyline or that.
That's usually when I'm most creative, is when I actually walk away from the computer and go do something, you know, mindless, as it were.
When you're doing it subconsciously in it.
Yeah, you know, you got it in the back of your mind, and you're like, oh shit, you know, that would work really well for this scene if I laid it out this way, or if I wrote this in or something like that.
Exactly. Don't force it. Just walk away and wait for the idea to come. Yeah.
When I was writing Not Daredevil, because it uses the original artwork in it, so I have all the original speech bubbles that I have to fill in the specific order that they come and stuff. Yeah, and there was this one scene, 2 panels, 3 speech bubbles, and I swear that I just stared at that page for like 2 days, and then was like, I just have to carry on. Like, I'll come back to these to try and squeeze a joke in here. Just carry on. And I went all the way to the end, and it's days before release now, and those 3 bubbles are still there unfilled. So then I finally came up with something, and I put it in, and it's the joke that is in there is one of my favorite jokes, like, from the whole thing now. So my advice is just go to the next cool scene and something that you're excited to write, and then just write that.
Or go to a completely different project too. Yeah.
Rod says Clint Stoker has shown how this can work. You deliver a highly collectible, quality graphic novel format by Indiegogo, and then a floppy alternative offered through comic shops with a publisher.
Yes.
I know it's a little bit. It's kind of the backwards method. Sims, you know, we're going to do the same thing with Blood Hunt. You know, you got the collectible graphic novel through the campaign, and then break it down into floppies afterwards. Your graphic novel is actually the more collectible item, whereas, you know, the floppies are a little bit cheaper. You know,
it's almost like a second printing.
It's like now the trade becomes the collectible and the first edition. Then the rest is.
Exactly, and I mean,
then we're going to have another trade as well. Yeah, because you know, if you break, you could break it up into floppies for comic book shops, but at the same time, you know, your graphic novels could still be like part 1 of 4, and eventually you can put out a hardcover of all 4 of those together.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I do. If I have one complaint, I mean, I think I agree that Clint's onto something there. That was a good idea, but his timing was shit. Yeah, because he announced that he was doing that halfway through his active campaign. I mean, he was almost. It's almost like he was telling people, "It's like, oh, if you want to read the book, yeah, you could read the whole thing for like $2 a pop in a few months. You don't have to pay like $25 now."
I think he should have sat on that a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think he should have announced that he was going to do the floppy deal like a month after the campaign closed.
Absolutely.
That's how I would have done it.
One thing I have to say though is I think Clint went through Alterna to go ahead. And publish.
He is.
Yeah, it's
now one thing I do like about Alterna is Peter pushes like his titles under his umbrella like crazy. Like, he's the only publisher I know out there that does that. I tried to get with Alterna at one point, but they have a weird standard that I can't meet. So.
Yeah, Peter does have. He's got his rules, but in all fairness, he's put those rules in place for a reason, and it seems like the model really works. It does. Is it conducive for everybody? No, but there are people out there that it does work for, and I think props to Peter for what he does.
I don't think it could work for me. Like, I mean, going into this, I knew that I'm going to be on my own. I'm going to have to be self-employed or work with other people that are as problematic as me because no traditional business would want to associate with me. So like, okay, fine. I'm just going to like going back to what we talked about like an hour ago. I'll just make my own everything from the ground up, and then nobody could touch me.
Yeah, be your own boss.
Yeah, my own website is about to release. I have and then I'm working with a guy who he made his own payments processor. So we're going to be using that, to make sure, that I can't be deplatformed by a payment processor anymore either.
No, that's good.
So my own website, my own payment processor, and he's going to be hosting the sites too. And then, but even then, I mean, it's not that hard to swap who's hosting your site. But so the entire structure, top to bottom, I want to make like our own, because that's to completely disarm the NPCs. Because as I mentioned earlier, the only power they have over you is the power to cry to mommy to get you deplatformed. But if you run everything yourself and there's no mommy for them to cry to, they are completely powerless.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, one thing I did want to mention was what I meant by like the standards Peter had in place. I think what I meant by was like I think they have a house style to a certain extent for their books. And I don't think my book met that style.
Oh, mine definitely wouldn't meet the style. Yeah. What we're trying to prove with Blade Devil actually is that there's a good reason that manga is just demolishing Western comics right now. And I think maybe 75% of it is due to the writing, but I think a lot of it is the art as well. Right. And but every time Westerners have tried to copy the anime manga style, it's almost as if it was like it's that "Hello, fellow kids" meme where you got someone that doesn't understand anime and manga, but they see it's popular, so like, oh, we're going to make one of those, but they don't understand at all what makes it appealing, and it shows.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're trying to do the opposite. I mean, there have been a few successes like Avatar: The Last Airbender, for example. And we're trying to do, and we're not trying to create a manga either. We're creating a manga inspired comic, and it's in the same way that when Tezuka was working on Astro Boy and all his stuff, he took a lot of inspiration from Disney. So he looked at what the West was doing and saw, okay, this is superior to what we're doing. I'm going to steal that and make it my own. And anime and manga spawned from that. And now anime and manga is demolishing the West. We have to be looking at that going, okay, it's clearly superior to what we're doing. Why? And what can I steal from this and make it? And so then maybe in the next 50 years, the West is going to be dominating Japan again in the entertainment sphere because we took what worked for them and combined it with what we thought was awesome here. You know,
that's what I'm doing too.
Yeah, Blade Devil doesn't look completely manga, and it doesn't look really American manga either. Like, you got a really unique look to it.
I think so too.
I started inking it.
Hold on, let me flip flop. Boom, there we go. Oh yeah, that's looking great.
Nice. Yeah, awesome.
So RG, what you're a self-made YouTuber. You're a celebrity in the UK. What advice would you have to give, up and coming guys? Because I mean, here you are, your first book, relatively unknown entity. You've got a decent YouTube follow. I mean, a pretty sizable YouTube following, if I may say so. You're over six figures. Like what is your advice to the little guys out there?
Well, no, you guys probably ain't gonna like this, but
lay it out there.
No, it's time. I see if you want, because right now would be, I think, the best time to launch a Comicsgate book, because this is I think this is the last chance before it gets the market gets really crowded to really stand out. But on the flip side, I agree with Ethan and John Malin in them. You have to have your own. You have to grow your own platform first, so you have your own dedicated fan base that'll buy your stuff. But the problem is time, because you get see Yellow Flash and Ethan and them. They like just flew past me in a matter of a year or two. But people like that are rare. And with me, it took me 7 years to get to where I am. So if you start now, it may be 7 years before you're in a position to launch anything. And that's the part people don't want to hear. It's like, oh, I got this great idea now, but I don't have a following yet. It's like, well, I don't know what I can tell you there. Like maybe get in good with someone who has a large following that'll shill for you often. I don't know, but as I found out too, it's maybe it's because I was hyping the book up for almost a year, but even people like Wenger, whose book, who I think fits well with my audience. Now I got him a couple of sales, but nowhere near as much as I sold of Blade Devil, obviously.
Right.
And that's So you got to have people who are in it, for what you are doing and you're creating, but it may take years to build that up. Here's the thing, you got to stick with it, because there's a lot of people on YouTube it's almost like we see with comics. You got these great artists that should be top class at Marvel or DC, but they're just being passed up and nobody knows who they are. It's like that at YouTube as well. You got some small creators that they could get like 10 views a video, but they make like master class videos better than these channels with millions of subs. And then after like a 6 months or so, they just give up because nobody's watching their stuff. But the thing is, you can't give up, because eventually it's a matter of luck. Because like some giant YouTuber is going to see your video one day and they're going to share it, and all of a sudden, that's what happened to me. Yeah, because when I was still sitting at like less than 10,000 subs, some giant YouTuber retweeted one of my videos or something, and all of a sudden I'm gaining like 7,000 subs within a week. Whoa! Yeah, and that's You just got to wait for your breakout. You can't get discouraged. I mean, it is hard. But yeah, I mean, it's you have to be in it for the long haul. Like Malin says, a 5-year plan, except I'd say probably more like 10 years if you're wanting to start with YouTube, because like Yellow Flash and Ethan, they're the exception to the rule, where they can show up and within 1 or 2 years, they become that big. Yeah, most channels are, either in my range, or even I'm on the lucky side, because a lot of channels are way older than me and they have better content than me, but less subs and less viewers. So you just got to stick with it. And I know that's not what people want to hear if they want to launch a book now, but I don't know. If you don't have your own built-in audience, you probably won't achieve the same level of success. Okay, I just got reminded. There's one other alternative. You could do what Cecil did, where he got his fame he was there from the start, and it was a long time before he started taking his channel seriously, because his channel was a parody channel at first.
Yeah.
But his thing is he went on the big channels. Like, he was a likable guy. He was fun to have around. And then after 2 years of hanging out with all the big CG personalities, then he launches his book. Of course, it's going to be a success because everyone within CG knows him and likes him already. So despite the fact, he built up his own following, not on his own channel, but he did it in that way. But yeah, you got to do that first. You got to build up a following first if you want to hit the bigger numbers. But you may need to accept you're not going to be launching your book today.
That's one of the questions that I thought about a lot was, if you're trying to build your own platform, build your own channel and stuff, with the long-term aim of releasing a book, it's like, what content do you create, to make those without falling into the, isn't Marvel SJW? Oh, look at Star Wars, isn't it shit? Well, so what I did was I am launching this first book, to create the content in it, like to grow my channel to release the next book, if that makes sense. We don't know how well a model it's going to be, but it seems to be working so far.
So you're actually using the book as more of the launch pad itself.
This book launches the YouTube that launches the next book, if that makes sense. Like I had a small YouTube following before of loyalists or whatever, like the people who have stumped up the cash. Like, and now I'm getting to take this book on streams like this and reintroduce myself to your audience and grow that way in it. Like, that's
well, I mean, you came out on the scene. You had Not Daredevil that you had been working on, and you were giving that shit away to anybody who DM you. Like, you want to read the book? Here, send me a DM. I'll send you a link to the book.
Yeah, I gave away over 800 copies of it, which is some. I almost sold as much as what was that book that we quoted earlier on 880 that got a TV show.
Oh yeah, I've already lost my train of thought on that, but yeah. So I mean, yeah, you've done your own things as, you know, trying to get your name out there and be a little bit more recognized. What the fuck is this book, Mark?
It's really something. So it's a photonovella, like a fumetti comic, and it's made out of photographs, and it details an alternate history of the Korean War, where North Korea win in it and defeat the American swines.
That is so awesome.
And that cover is by Captain Fuckhead, and it's actually an original Captain Marvel cover, you know, a Shazam cover that's in the public domain. Like he's drawn over it. Like if you scroll down a little, you can see there's some Japanese people running away, like and those are the original Japanese people off the cover in it. You see, they still got that yellow racist skin color and stuff. Just pretty cool.
So yeah. Where did this idea come about? You know, I mean, you went from Not Daredevil to this, The Adventures of Kim Il-sung and Best Korea.
So I actually made this before Not Daredevil, yeah. Well, you know, I'd completed a first draft of it before Not Daredevil. And this is the book that made me think, oh shit, I can do this. Like, because this book's really good. And so then when I released Not Daredevil and I gave away 800 of them, people were like, oh, I want this for real. Like, I want a physical copy. Are you going to do Indiegogo? Like, let's get physical copies out. And I do plan to do that in the future. But this campaign is my test campaign in it. Like, I picked the most obscure, the most niche, the most, like, one that should not be able to sell in it, so I could get a small sample size to practice distribution and stuff for the next book, which I plan to be more successful than this one.
Yeah, that's super secret project number 3, right?
Oh, that's so I'm going to do a Not Daredevil after this. Like,
okay.
Sort of an annual thing, and then this mystery project is the third one that's coming down the line. That's my Oscar bait, that is, because I still believe that I can win an Eisner Award in it. Like, so I'm doing an Oscar bait book, if that makes sense. Yeah,
it makes no sense, but I love it.
This is awesome.
This really is a really an original project. It's unlike anything out there, and I gotta say, I know Sim loves this too. You have a burn a book tier.
Yeah. So you can burn the book. Send me the money. I'll pay to have it printed still, and I'm gonna burn them all in my garden, like live on YouTube.
You sold 5 of them.
Yeah, 5 so far. Yeah, and I've got a fanzine version, which is just printed on A4 paper, like stapled down the side. And there's only 20 of those ever going to be made, and any of the 20 that don't sell are going on the Korean barbecue with.
So I have to ask now: when you burn these books, are you going to make sure you have your kid in the background say, "Daddy, that's my book"?
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that. Yeah, like yeah, that fanzine version as well. Like I'm sending it out. Oh, here's a copy of it. Like here's a prototype on it. Like here it is.
Hold on, let me make
It's big,
you
like-
make you a big screen here. There.
Look, you can see all the pages inside. This doesn't have the in-betweens. It's just the fanzine, the prototype. But I'm gonna put the stamp on and write your address on the back in it, and just post like and I fully expect that most of them won't arrive at the location in like good condition. Some people might just get the back page with their address on, like. But people who get a full good quality one, they're going to be worth more, and it's more desirable.
So not only is this book a parody, you're also parodying a lot of campaigns themselves.
Yeah, that's exactly. I spent as much time writing this campaign as making the book in it, because I can't really give spoilers for the book, like, because I'm holding on to my jokes or whatever. So I had to demonstrate like how funny it is without doing that. So I satirized Indiegogo campaigning at the same time. Like there is a tier, the bourgeoisie best career bundle. If you scroll down, like it's the last one in it. Like
make career best again.
Yeah, just a hat. So that hat is a joke that I stole from Tim Lim, and Tim Lim Space Force. Like he was giving away "Make America Great Again" hats, so I did that. And also, this in the thing it says at the bottom that it'll all be like. Let me open it instead of trying to do it from memory. All bundled in a fancy 10 apple. Look how fancy my box is. Yeah. And I was thinking, I might just put it in pizza boxes, like, and ship them out, because you can't recycle pizza boxes here. And then Ethan come out with his chicken box in it like a week later. I was like, oh shit, I need to think of a new fancy box. I think it's just going to be a cardboard box, and I'm going to punch it and write fancy on there. So,
That's awesome.
You should scribble scribble drawings of 10 apples on there. I think.
Yeah, that's
make it a 10 apple box.
Oh no! Also, maybe you could find those boxes that rations come in, and then use those.
Yeah,
that'd be really good too.
Yeah. That's almost too good though.
Yana Fui in the chat, hail brother. He says he's going to burn the comic and eat the kid on video. Scarlet Crusader says, "Fucking brilliant idea. Maybe you should send them the ashes."
Oh, that's true. That would be awesome.
if you buy the burner book tier, you don't have to pay postage on it, because it's just from my own house. And what I'm actually going to do is collect all of the ashes and send them to my CG UK compatriot Peephole Circus. I don't know if people know who Peephole is. He's a legend. And he's going to mix it in some paint and do a painting out of all the char.
Shut up.
Dang.
Dude, that is awesome.
And is that painting going to be some Cecil fan art too?
I'm hoping it's going to be some Comic Mark fan art, if I'm honest. But we'll see what happens. There was another thing. Oh yeah. So as well, right now I am £15 away, which is one physical copy of achieving my first stretch goal in it, which is that I'll be redistributing genuine North Korean banknotes in it, like to the backers.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that you were doing that as a stretch goal.
Yeah. If you just scroll down, it's at the bottom. You can see a.
Where did you find those?
I've ordered them off the internet. Like they're on the way. Like even though I haven't met the stretch goal yet, I had to order them as soon as I had the idea, because once the campaign closes, I want to deliver it and move on to the next thing. Not that I don't love this one, like it's hilarious, but I want to deliver as soon as it closes, so I had to get them in advance.
Well, yeah, because you said it took quite a while to get these shipped to you.
Yeah, 4 to 6 weeks it said that it was going to take, so I had to order them like on the spot, and it not like I'll think about that. Like no, just do it, and
Yeah, now hopefully customs doesn't steal them or hold it up for a few. Yeah, like Italy. Italy is by far the worst country in the world to ship to, I've found. Even eBay sellers will not ship to Italy because they have the most obnoxious customs laws of like any alleged first world country ever. And then
and yet they're devastated by the coronavirus.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you just look up on the post office website stuff you can't ship to Italy. So it's a lot of their customs keeps confiscating like everything. And then these eBay sellers, they got to the point where you get like 2 or 3 negative reviews and they take your entire accounts down or something like that. So these Italians were buying stuff and then they were never getting it because their customs stole it. And then they were giving negative reviews to the sellers. So sellers were all like, man, fuck this. We're not shipping to Italy anymore.
Wow.
It sucks. So hopefully you get this money, because I wouldn't be surprised if UK Customs was like, oh my God, from North Korea, this guy's laundering money.
Yeah. Tens of thousands of one it is. They've had to order to meet the...
Yeah, it may only be £5 UK, but I mean, maybe. It's a fortune in North Korea, right?
Well, my book is currently at 1.4 million Korean won in it, making me a millionaire in Korea.
Nice. Dude, that's amazing.
Only Comicsgate's second 7-figure book. Look, so I'm quite proud of that as an achievement.
Dude, I think this is just brilliant. I mean, from top to bottom, the book idea is just off the wall, and like I said, like your campaign itself is it's brilliant, man. Like you put so much thought into this.
Like the reason that I love this project so much is it's not supposed to work. It breaks all the rules of what Comicsgate books are supposed to be, and it's supposed to have great art, no art photographs. Supposed to stay away from politics. It's literally like it's about a dictator. Like it shouldn't work, but it has worked. Like you can see the numbers. People are stumping up the cash and they believe in me, and that touches me a lot.
Oh, I have another idea for a stretch goal while we're at it. How about you have a stretch goal to color the photographs, like just for laughs?
It's something that I've looked at because I have to print this whole book in color, because even though the photos are all in black and white, there's a rainbow in there. Yeah, like that's mildly important to the story, and it looks terrible in black and white.
Mildly important to the story.
Yeah, but there's also so in Not Daredevil we had like these fake adverts and like columns in between, and that's going to happen on this. And I've made a few of them, and they're all in color, so it's going to be in color now. Another stretch goal.
Color it with color pencils.
I'll do it with crayons. Yeah. Another stretch goal people have suggested is to have less pages, like it fits into the style of the campaign. And like if I get to £100,000, no pages at all for anyone.
Make it digest size.
Yeah, I did look earlier. I saw a picture of Kim Il-sung holding a tiny little book that was like this big or whatever, and I thought, I wonder if I can get it printed that small, like, just to make the photo of like him holding a tiny little.
You get a free magnifying glass with each one.
Yeah, you know, that what you were just saying kind of reminds me of. I think it was the Tales from Beyond the Gate. I think they had a stretch tier. There was a Kick Nasser tier where the Nasser pages were perforated, so you could tear Nasser out of your book. I always thought that was pretty brilliant. That poor book never got funded. It just had too high of a goal, and I think it was just released at a bad time. Anthologies, man, are just a hard sell to anybody. I mean, we've seen time again in and out of Comicsgate. They just don't sell well.
Yeah,
and you end up putting way too much money into them.
The one thing that I'm curious, I wonder how well CG Jumpstart's going to do.
Now that's a little
exception.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the exception because it's not an anthology. It is Wizard Magazine to the tune of Comicsgate. You know,
I can't wait for that. Actually, I think it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I think that one. There's a lot of people excited for that. I think that's going to be a 1,000-backer campaign for sure. But I think anyway, we've got our fingers crossed because we've said that there's not going to be any stretch goals. The stretch goal is that if it does well enough, that there will be an issue 2.
Oh, that's almost what we did with Blade Devil, actually. Where now I specified in the campaign, you know, I could already fund the creation of the book. It's already mostly done. So it's going to come out regardless of how the campaign does. But the campaign, how well the campaign does determines if we're going to bother continuing it. And from the looks of it, we're going to be continuing it.
I would say so. It seems to be pretty popular, sir.
Yeah.
So we also, Preston here, he just launched his new book yesterday, Doc Salem Monster Hunter. Give us a rundown on Doc Salem, would you?
So Doc Salem is really the story of Victor von Frankenstein. It's an alternate telling of Victor von Frankenstein. Like, okay, so Victor von Frankenstein, he creates his monster. Like, he tries to cure death, and in doing so, he created a beast, and it gets out of his control, and it almost kills him. And while he lays dying, his assistant Igor runs up and injects him with the elixir of life. Frankenstein's elixir of life, and but the process wasn't completed. Like, there was no electricity involved or anything like that. So it took decades for him to go ahead and heal from his wounds. And when he awakens, it's a modern world. He's because of his monster, he's his name is outlawed, and he would be put to death if he came out as Victor Frankenstein. So he changes, he takes the guise of Doc Salem. And to make amends for all the wrong that his beast did, he hunts down rogue monsters. And that's Doc Salem. But you know what? I got a video if you can play it, like at the top.
Let me make sure. I don't know if let me reshare to make sure I've got the sound on here. I don't know if I click the share audio button or not. So
and be a real boomer and have the audio off even when you redo
it. I've done it before.
You know the story. A mad genius, an unholy creation. The world, of course, remembers the monster, not the man. But sometimes, when you look closely, there's more to a tale. Sometimes the monster is the man. This is the story of Dr. Salem, Monster Hunter. Dr. Victor Frankenstein endures life-threatening wounds inflicted by his very own creation. His trusty assistant Igor injects him with the elixir of life, which puts him in a state of suspended animation. When he finally awakens, many years have passed and times have changed. The world that he knew is long gone and the tables have turned. Now monsters have emerged from the shadows and taken over. Victor Frankenstein finds that he is one in man due to the devastation his creation had wrought. To make amends for his transgressions, Victor assumes the guise of Dr. Salem and hunts down rogue monsters. This new and exciting series, created by artist and writer Preston Acevedo, is a 52-page graphic novel that combines Lovecraftian horror with Mary Shelley's Frankenstein to give you a fresh new look into the world of classic monsters. So join the Doc Salem army and help Doc Salem bring peace and balance to the world, one monster at a time. Thank you for your support. Now, one thing I do want to stress is that this is the first Comicsgate crossover where Doc Salem is actually kicking off the crossover with Brian Christoph's Six Gun Gorilla and the Literature Devils, Dr. Alpha. And
really?
It's going to be pretty interesting. Yeah, it's going to, kind of merge in properties a little bit.
Is this a major spoiler for Six Gun Gorilla? Is he actually a doctor?
No, he's not a doctor. He's a stupid ape. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like I'm really excited about this series. In fact, the Literature Devil did a one-pager, like a short story that's going to be featured in this book too. It's definitely going to be interesting. I switched the colors up too. Like I had a colors, but everybody had a problem with his style, so I went and used the same colors from my other property, Rockabilly Road Trip, on this one.
I think the colors are great. I love this grayscale and how the serum is green.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I wanted to make the flashbacks look like you were looking at the original Frankenstein movie with film grain and all that kind of stuff. And so
I can see that come through too. How it's got some of the lines in it and stuff.
Yeah,
really cool, man. I like what you're doing here. I've told you this before. I love the way you draw monsters.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, through and through. Like, there's. I feel like there's a reason behind that both of your books involve monsters. Is because you love to draw monsters.
I do actually. I'm a huge Godzilla fan. like the old Hammer movies and stuff like that. And that's one thing I want to include in Doc Salem. Like Doc Salem has a strong Lovecraftian influence in it when it comes to the monsters. And you know, like I'm actually using like Cthulhu and, you know, Dagon, like right there's, you know, he's fighting Dagon. But there's also like like one of the main villains in this book is called the Monster Mob, where it's made up of the different fractions of the classic monsters. Like you got the ghouls, the vampires, witches, and all these people who make up the actual mob, you know. And
can I just say that I love the way how you say monster with an A?
Monster.
Monster.
It's that Cajun accent.
I was
Go
going to
ahead.
say, this Doc Salem character, like, who reminds me of, he looks like Captain Planet, but crossed with Dick Dastardly. Like,
it does have a Captain Planet vibe.
I think that's just your mind
I
goes
love
there because of
Captain
the teal colored skin.
What,
I think
what
that's
was
just-
that? What was that cartoon that Warner Brothers did a while back, or like in the 90s?
Oh,
And-
Freakazoid.
yeah.
Freakazoid.
Reminds me of that too. I used to love that show.
I'm actually a huge Mike Allred fan.
Mhm.
And like I wanted to kind of tell a story like Mike Allred does with Madman. You know what I'm saying? Like where it doesn't matter how old you are, you know, you can actually read a Mike Allred story, like a Madman book, and you get the same out of it. Like it's awesome. You know what I'm saying? And it's highly entertaining. And that's another thing I want to do with Doc Salem is I wanted to bring back the escapism that you look for whenever you read comics and not have to deal with reality.
So
actually,
is this an all ages book then?
it's yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh, right on. That's awesome.
cool.
We
No,
definitely
it is
support,
it
like,
is
all
super
ages books.
violent. But you know, so I don't know if you want your kids. There's no like erotic.
Well, I mean, you give it to.
eroticism
I
or
mean,
anything
when I
like
say
that.
all ages, I mean like 13 and up. You know, some 12-year-olds
Yeah.
and up. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about America, right there. You know, you can show the most bloody gore possible. It's like, that's PG. But as soon as a nipple pops out, oh fuck,
Oh, absolutely.
21 and up,
X-rated.
Yeah,
Now all the chicks in here have like triple D's. So
that's good.
they're
That's
just
good.
not showing any nipples.
Well, Sim got strung up because he had a covered up nipple on his campaign page, so everybody assumed that his book was porn.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, he's
Wait,
got
wait.
one set of tits in Blood Hunt.
Your book's not porn?
No, it's not.
Oh,
Up here come the refunds.
But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting book, and it's based on one of my all-time favorite classic monsters. You know, Frankenstein. And the reason why I've always, like as a kid, I always like was drawn to that movie. And I think it's because there wasn't really any villain in the movie. Like it was just this big misunderstanding. You know?
yeah.
That's
And,
one of the great things about Frankenstein is that there really isn't a villain.
No, there's not. And
No, the villain
that's
is
one thing
ignorance.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, if anything, it's the villagers. They're the villain. You know, because it's based on, I guess it's based on prejudice, right? I mean, because they judge the monster off of looks alone, and then they try to kill Frankenstein because Frankenstein created the monster. But
Bring out the torches and the pitchforks, take them down.
and it's just craziness. But that's why I really dug it, because it's all chaos, and it's, you know, and you got this beast that's basically a 4-year-old stuck in this gigantic body. You know?
Do you think
Oh,
that
actually, I just want to let you know that Ethan started streaming right now, so you're probably gonna
He
steal some
always
audience.
he
Yeah.
always streams over me. I
Yeah.
always say he does it because he loves me.
Oh, yeah, so sorry for interrupting. I just wanted to, make sure everyone knows that. Yeah.
wanted to redirect the audience?
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, no, I think
Okay,
everybody already
perfect.
knows. I just wanted to let everyone know. Oh yeah, the reason why there's the audience is dropping. Yeah.
You just picked up a backer. Rotten Glory just snagged himself a copy of Doc Salem Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
You won't be disappointed.
Someone bought 2 copies of my book as well, so thank you to
Oh, excellent.
the person
Awesome.
who that was. One for real and one to burn. So
Also, I want to point out too that if you signed up for the pre-campaign, or you backed my other book, Rockabilly Road Trip, you're eligible for the secret perk, which is an alternate cover. It's the crossover cover with the promo art on it. So yeah, at a discount too. Like it's not the same price as the regular book in here. But you have to already select the perk to go ahead and be able to get it.
Oh, okay.
So I was going to say, do you think that in Victorian England, people were like, oh, Mary Shelley, these female writers making us the villagers out as the bad guys, like
honestly
forcing monster representation like into the books. Like
they were probably like, what is wrong with Mary Shelley? I think she should be committed. She's got a sick
they
imagination.
thought the same thing with J.P. Lovecraft or LP. What's it? How do you say his name? Lovecraft.
H.P. Lovecraft.
H.P. Lovecraft.
They thought the same thing for him for years. He didn't really become a celebrity, so to speak, until after he died. They just thought his stories were nuts back in the 50s. And
Well, was it like Lovecraft on opium or some shit like that?
I
Like
think so.
psychedelics
I'm
or
not
something?
sure. I know he was really weird social wise, very recluse.
Now I got to say, like I was tripping, and I had a bad trip, right? And dude, like I mean, I was seeing some serious Lovecraftian, visuals while I was under.
I
It was crazy.
I prefer my artists on drugs. I really do.
I think that Preston just described how Doc Salem came about.
I think he did.
Yeah, I know, right? Most of my stuff is usually after like I had some crazy ass surgery or something like that, and I'm on heavy medication. Yeah, but yeah, Doc Salem was just something that was rooting around in the back of my head, and like I was trying to take a break from Rockabilly Road Trip. So anyway, this is what happened. We put out an issue of Rockabilly Road Trip at the height of the SJW movement, and the basis of the story of Rockabilly Road Trip was this disease called Macritis, right? Well, Macritis is a disease that Mississippians used to describe a woman's menopause back in the 1800s. And we built
every day on this show.
Exactly. We built the whole story around it. And we had a publisher lined up at the time, and the publisher immediately backed out. And they're a well-known publisher. And because the book was approved, it was greenlit. And then once we turned in the full story and they read the full story, they were like, we can't publish this. And so we put it on the side, and I was kind of bummed about it. And I was like, fuck it, dude. So and that's when I came up with Doc Salem. Because it was something that kind of, it was kind of a distraction at the time that grew and it got out of control.
Well, that's how half of Sims properties came about. He got stalled by Indiegogo on Blood Hunt, and then he just started creating all these other properties in the meantime.
That was a great story to tell too, because this just shows why it's important to go independent, I guess. Because
absolutely,
as long as it's legal and everyone involved in the production process knows they're not going to get raided by the government or something for doing it, you could make anything. You don't have to worry about if I do this, it's going to hurt my publisher's brand. It's like, fuck no, we are our own brands, and we can do whatever the hell we want.
Yeah.
Now, if you scroll down, I got the promo art for the crossover in the campaign there.
Let's see, promo art for the crossover.
That's all the alternate covers too. It's some of them done by some well.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
That is a nice, perfect name right there, too.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, I really like that. Yeah. That's awesome. That turned out really good.
Yeah, I'm got a colorist working on it. Like, I'm going to release a crossover cover as an alternate cover once we pass the goal. But the specialty perk is the raw cover where it's the sketch, and yeah. I think people
I
might
mean,
dig that.
I definitely love looking at your pencils. You did the alternate cover for Mike Murphy's The Gods Fear Me, and the decision was made to just leave it as is, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. Well, I talked to Mike. You see, back what it was like I said, Comicsgate helps out Comicsgate, and I was new to Comicsgate, and what happened was Mike was having problems reaching his goal, and I don't have a following on YouTube or anything like that. So, but I do have a pencil. So I did him, and he has some pretty interesting characters. His book is heavily based in Lovecraftian lore too. So, I did a sketch of one of his villains and I sent it to him and he was like, "Oh, this is great." I was like, "Get the most out of it that you possibly can." I was like, "Go ahead and make it a raw cover, make it an alternate cover. That way you can give away the artwork and you can go ahead and, give away the raw cover." And it worked. Like, he made a good bit of money off of that. Now, if you go down a little bit more, I'm offering my mashups too. And that would be the, Sims character with a mashup with Doc Salem, Wart the Wizard, and Magic Cop.
That's
and
awesome.
Also, if you go down a little bit more, there's a Doc Salem Death Sworn sketch that's also offered as art tiers. Yeah, and
very cool.
That's
the secret
you
character
bring up
right there.
you bring up a really good point. Kind of the theme this morning has been how to grow your audience. You can ask him here. One of the biggest things that helped him out was just doing fan art for other campaigns that he liked.
To help promote,
yeah.
You promote other people and you help promote yourself because people are looking at this fan art going, "Damn, like this is good shit. Oh, he's got a campaign. Well, I need to check that campaign out."
Oh, dude, no, it's not even just if you want to be on YouTube. If you are an artist and you're really good and you want to break in and get work, doing fan art for somebody else is another way to do that. Because most of the artists I'm working with now, originally they did some fan art, and I was like, "Oh, this guy's good. I'm gonna have to see if he's willing to work." Yeah.
Well, that's how.
No, absolutely, you're right, and that's another thing too. Is like you were saying, you have to grow your channel and stuff like that. But if you don't have that, you know what I'm saying, you can help out in other ways. And but while you're helping out, somebody else out, you're also helping yourself out. Because you're getting your name out there.
It's the rising tide raises all ships kind of.
Like on the last campaign, I was offering a Doc Salem Shinobi Sasquatch sketch like this, and that sold within 2 hours of the campaign being launched. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it helps, dude. I mean, because when you're associated with other people that have successful campaigns, I mean, it's just you're gonna take a little bit of that success with you.
Yeah, you gotta utilize every avenue you can. It doesn't have to be YouTube. Just get out there, make yourself known. I was just talking earlier this week with EJ Morges, who's doing the Cyberfrog Numb that's on the new Cyberfrog campaign. He literally got noticed just for doing fan art, and then it got passed along kind of up the chain, fell into Ethan's lap, and Ethan was like, "Dude, you draw Cyberfrog on model. Like, I want you to work for me." So, just keep at it. Do whatever you can do. You don't have to try to emulate RGE or Yellow Flash or Ethan himself. Do what you can to get yourself out there.
Well, I think a lot of those guys too. What I think is I think their channels grew. I'm not talking about Ethan, because Ethan grew because he was the artist for Green Lantern. Like, he was going to get an audience no matter what. But a lot of those other guys, like, they came in at the right time. Like, that was, like I said, the height of the SJW movement when they started their channels and they got involved with, they spoke their minds. They were like, this movement is garbage.
Yeah.
And there was a whole bunch of people out there that, I guess they felt like they were being gagged. You know what I'm saying? Like, like they couldn't speak their mind, but then they hear like Micah coming out saying, this is garbage. This SJW movement is crap, dude. What are they doing? And I think it instantly grew their channels, like overnight. Like they got thousands of people following them.
Yeah, and if you wanna do that, I will say make sure it's something you actually care about.
Yeah,
there's some people out there that they just see, oh, this is a bandwagon to jump on, but they clearly don't give a shit about comics or anime, manga, video games, whatever. And
Absolutely.
your audience can tell when you're just faking.
Oh, you can't fake it.
enthusiasm.
Yeah, you can't fake it.
So a good example is when Birds of Prey came out like 2 months ago or whatever. Nobody cares, but there's a million videos about it of people saying how shit it is with no passion in it, like that they don't even care how shit it is. Just
yeah,
don't
but it
make
was
that
trending,
video.
so they were like, "Oh, I got to jump on this."
Exactly. People chasing that algorithm. What you need to do is be true to yourself and have fun. And if you can line up with the algorithm, that's nice. Like, but don't aim to do that in it. Aim to be you, like, and show people who you are.
Well, now it's not possible to grow your channel that way. I don't think it's because YouTube is now, what is it called? It's called
throttling.
It's not really. It's ghost blocking, I guess.
Shadow ban.
Shadow ban.
Oh,
yeah.
Ghost blocking.
Yeah, ghost blocking. I don't know. Yeah.
that sounds like another comic idea right there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's a sex move.
Yeah, I know, right? It's when your buddy, like, after he dies, he comes and stops you from having sex. But yeah, like, they're shadow banning people. And that's one thing, like, all these channels who got, like, these huge audiences because they were commenting on the SJW movement. After a while, YouTube, I mean, it's run by SJW. You know what I'm saying? So, they recognized this, and I think guess what happened was they went ahead and they shadow banned these people because they noticed that they wasn't getting any more growth. Like their growth came to an abrupt stop.
Yeah, a lot of YouTubers freaked out over that. I mean, you've seen a couple of them out there kind of chasing clout, as it were, because all of a sudden, they went from 12,000 views on a video to 6,000. They weren't doing anything different, but YouTube was like, okay, you're growing too fast. We need to put a stop to this.
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons I keep telling people, like, YouTube is great for side income or to build an audience to sell comics to, but don't ever rely on it as a full-time job because just at the drop of a hat. I mean, I've seen channels with 1 million subs just get taken down. Now they usually can come back because if your channel's that big, you can actually talk to YouTube. But yeah, nobody's sacred. Like I wouldn't be surprised if one day they just decided, oh, PewDiePie's banned now.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
So speaking on monsters, we've got obviously Scott Payne is here. He's got Chaotic Flux, Aliens versus Monsters Part 2. He's got 3 days left on this campaign. You're already funded. You're over what you did on the first campaign, which, again, it might not be a lot of growth, but it shows growth from campaign 1 to campaign 2, which proves that this is a sustainable business model running these campaigns through Indiegogo. Comicsgate can stand on its own. Tell us a little bit about Chaotic Flux here.
Okay. Chaotic Flux centers on this team called the Crimson Flame, who unite the future to rid the world of these mutant abominations that are taken over called Dread Fiends. They're these kind of horrific... they started out as a food source that humanity had created through gene splicing of different animals as a new food source in the future because there's great food shortage due to catastrophic events that are happening with weather patterns as well as a lot of war that's being fought across the world for what is still usable resources and land where people can live and survive. But these creatures, they start out very docile and easy to control. But then they start to mutate on their own and turn against humanity. And they have this insatiable appetite where they have to constantly feed to sustain themselves. So they begin devouring everything in sight. And when they do feed on something, this gives them the ability to self-mutate. So they can then, for instance, give themselves extra strength, speed, wings for flight. They can even transform completely on a certain level. The heroes in the story consist of an exosuit pilot named Soren, a huge transforming AI mecha named Strife, a alien hybrid named Zathara, as well as a fire-based mage named Nalaria, a plant-based mage named Pagan, and a huge 8-foot-tall swordsman with a giant transforming sword named Gyarados. The team decides to unite in the future to try to save humanity from these creatures that are just swarming the world. The first issue focuses on Zathara, who is able to create these crystal-like structures at will and all kinds of different types of melee weaponry. She can make these kind of blade arms to fight with, axes, throwing daggers. You'll see her use the ability in all kinds of cool ways throughout the series. And the first issue jumps into her backstory, where she's been hunted down most of her life by an organization called the Purging Hand, who's been trying to wipe her kind out for decades, as well as it gets into her first run-in with the Dread Fiends. And in issue 2, it jumps into a life or death situation, a race against time, where Zathara has to save an innocent family from becoming a Dread Fiend's next meal. So very tense, very exciting, very action-packed storyline. As well as some really cool deep science fiction world building. And there's also fantasy elements that come into it later, but they're not quite in the first 2 issues yet. That's coming a little bit later. But so the first one focuses mainly on the sci-fi side of it for sure. The main influences are the XMen, 90s style XMen, particularly the Age of Apocalypse storyline, where the X-Men are pushed to their absolute limits to stop Apocalypse and his army from destroying all of humanity. So this book is definitely on that level where these characters are pushed their absolute limits to face these horrible monsters, as well as other great threats that come into the storyline as it goes on. And there's also influence from the Game of Thrones story, where you have all these like twists and turns and big surprises, and don't be surprised if some main heroes or characters bite the dust. I'm not pulling any punches in the storyline. It's just very harsh and very, I guess, hard-hitting, you should say, or you could say. And the monsters of Resident Evil are also big influences in the Dread Fiends. So if you're big in those kind of creatures, you're definitely gonna like these guys, the Dread Fiends. And the diverse team is influenced greatly by Battle Chasers. I'm a big fan of the Battle Chasers comic book series, even though it was pretty short-lived. But it had a great team, diverse-wise, as far as their powers and the type of characters that they are. So the same goes for the Crimson Flame here.
So
what? You see, has great art. Go on.
No, I was just going to ask. Well, like I said, you've got 3 days left. Are you going in demand?
Yeah. I've decided to go on demand. So yeah, there's still gonna be a chance for people to get it after this. But I do have stretch goals now, though. I'm trying to hit 5,000 for the first stretch goal, and that will unlock some really nice bookmarks for everyone. They have great art on there from the comic. And but the thing is, though, with the stretch goals, in order to make distribution easier or shipping out to people easier, once I get the books themselves, after that I send them off the pages to the printer, should be next week, and get them back in a couple weeks, then I'm going to cut off the funding for the stretch goals, just because I that's I have to worry about shipping after that too on
right,
stretch
yeah
goals. Yeah. I wish it had to be that way, but yeah.
Well, I would not expect you to mail me a bookmark after you've already mailed me my deluxe metal package.
Right, after you pay for the shipping on that one, yeah.
Yeah. Now, speaking of things coming later, though, when are you going to release the Dread Fiend plushies?
That would be awesome. I wonder, like, if anyone would like if Ethan would do cyber flog plushies or something like that. We just all of a sudden go.
I was thinking about it.
Characters.
No, I was thinking about it, but you could make them, you could produce them pretty cheap at maybe like $4 to $6 per plushie. But the downside is you need to order them like a minimum amount of like 1,000. So you better be ready to, if you have 4,000, if you have 1,000 people willing to buy one, go right ahead. But otherwise,
Otherwise, you're going to get stuck with a room full of plushies.
Yeah. You'd end up selling them to those claw machine people, innit?
Yeah.
All the way back.
I would buy a machine just so I could fill it with Cyberfrog and
that'd be a neat way to display your plushies.
Right?
Yeah.
Buy your own claw machine.
I wanted to make action figures, but I looked into that. Man, it's so expensive to get action figures made, especially original ones.
It's like $30,000 just for the design and process and getting the machinery ready to go. And then same thing. You have a minimum amount they'd have to produce.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's a shame too, because the characters that you have in this story would make excellent action figures.
Yeah, I thought so too.
It's actually cheaper to do statues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get like custom pops made, I guess, but that's if you want to do pops.
You can also get very simple action figure like G.I. Joe or something, like you can pop in the
right. Yeah.
In 3D,
like repaint them and stuff or something.
Yeah.
I just want to see this property take off, so one day we can have Chaotic Flux action figures, or I would definitely take a Dread Fiend statue. Like just a big monstrous statue to put on my shelf. That would be really fucking cool.
Make it life size.
I want a Dread Fiend hand puppet.
Having your walkway right when you walk in the front door, you got a big ass Dread Fiend scaring her when it comes in.
My Renfa mouse already gives my kid nightmares. I can't imagine what a huge Dread Fiend would do. He does. Anytime I pick the Renfa mouse up, he fucking screams. He hates the damn thing.
Really?
Oh yeah. It's pretty funny. I use it to piss him off when he's pissing me off. But we're coming up to our 2-hour mark, and I tend to cut it off there. But thank you guys for coming on this morning. I appreciate everybody getting up early. Yeah, it's time for Sim to actually get some sleep. Don't forget to back Blood Hunt too. Of course, we haven't didn't look at the campaign, but the link's in the description. Really want to hit that 10K before we ship. I definitely want to see Scott hit that $5,000 stretch goal in the next 3 days. So if you guys are listening, make sure you share that link out to everybody. Get some eyes on this project because it's a really good one. I bought issue 1, loved it. High quality book. The man delivers a quality project, and I expect nothing less out of issue 2. To everybody in the chat, hail! Thank you guys for joining us this morning. Like RG said, a note. Ethan's streaming. Joe Fargo said he's going to stream all day, so I guess we're fucked. In that department.
Oh, Ethan marathon.
Yeah.
You can show my sketch again.
How does he do it?
Oh yeah, let's
awesome chair.
Yeah, see, if you guys want a good campaign launch, do a 24-hour stream. That was
very cool.
Oof.
Yeah.
I tried
that's
that.
looking great.
Yeah,
that's becoming more popular. Like in the first day, people doing 24-hour streams, or the last day of the campaign.
Oh, I'm gonna do one at the end too.
Are you?
Yeah.
You got it. You honestly, you got to start big, like opening weekend for a movie, and then also end just as big because there's a big push at the very end before you close.
Way Liam did Xenotype when he did, like, he was on every stream pretty much.
Oh yeah,
day.
dude, he got a whole schedule lined up and everything.
It's really cool. He lined that all up.
Yeah,
I did the same thing with Rockabilly Road Trip, but
Yeah,
it
you
was
were
rough,
everywhere too,
dude.
Preston.
Like it was hard.
Oh yeah.
You got to run and go get something to eat real quick before you go on your next stream.
So how many streams did you do that day? Totally think.
I think 6 or 7, something like that.
Okay. Wow. Yeah,
was
and if
nuts.
each one's like an hour, 2 hours long. Yeah.
And and it was each one was right after the other too. So it was like, oh god.
Hey,
I tried to do a whole weekend
it's
like
a
that.
job,
but it was
man.
nuts.
Yeah,
you're right.
Don't let anybody convince you any different.
Comic creators.
But it worked. I mean, I got over
Non-comic creators.
50% funding that day too, so it was good.
Nice.
We're gonna have to do a closing party for Blood Hunt at the end of the month.
Oh, definitely. I think we'll do an all day stream, bounce back and forth from channel to channel. I think that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys, like I said, thanks again for coming on this morning. I hope you all have a great day. To everybody in the chat, you do the same, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
All right,
Don't you just love Dick?